Hello and welcome to another edition of AI Impact Talk with me, Thembekile Mrototo, as always focusing on how AI, artificial intelligence, is affecting the different parts of our lives and how various industries are adapting the way in which they do business to make sure that not only do the corporations themselves succeed, but they're able to meet your needs as a customer, as a consumer, better using these AI tools. And we're joined today by someone who's been in the field for many years, Mark Nasila. He is the Chief Data and Analytics Officer with the FNB Risk, in the FNB Risk function, and he's joining us today on AI Impact Talk. A very good afternoon to you, sir. Good to talk to you. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Thembekile. Thank you for having me, and to the viewers who are joining us.
I mean, there are very few better guests. Not only do you work in the industry, but you've also written extensively on the subject, and perhaps you can, in that vein, help us to define generative AI in particular, and something that I learned about before speaking to you, agentic AI. Agentic. You see, that's why I'm glad you're here.
So I think the last 2.5 years, we've seen the AI topic being spoken about a lot. And from the traditional AI that was being spoken about before, which basically deals with enabling systems, processes, or machines execute human intelligence, to generative AI after the advent of ChatGPT. And generative AI is basically the type of AI that generates content. It could be data, it could be stitching words together to have paragraphs, which are very similar to what we human beings generate. And now we're in the phase of agentic AI. And this is type of AI that has autonomous characteristics. They can operate themselves. They can perceive the environment, how the environment is changing. They can learn from the environment, data. They can make decisions and act on those decisions. They almost possess human reasoning capabilities. That's agentic AI.
Human reasoning capabilities.
Yes.
What does that look like in reality?
I think for a long time we've been having this debate about humans and machines, and what has made us humans very unique is that we're able to perceive the environment, we're able to recognize how the environment is changing, we're able to process information, make decisions, act on those decisions. We are able to make decisions independently, and basically, agentic AI is almost gearing towards, almost executing tasks like human beings do.
And what does that mean in terms of how you then, as such a large business, FNB, deploy those tools?
It means while they're not mature yet, they do open up a lot of opportunities for us, for example, to automate a lot of functions. It means that we're meeting that digital experience for our customers. It means we should be able to be more proactive. With traditional AI alone, we've seen a massive change in the way we do things, in keeping up with challenges in the risk area, understanding customer needs and marketing products at the right time. But most importantly, in just keeping up with the current reality, a reality that is made up of geopolitical complexities, a reality that is made up of interest rates, a reality that is made up of, personalization as a need or a value proposition, and emerging risks. And this has meant that we can't keep doing things the old way. We have to leverage technology to do the right things and to do things the right way. At the same time, we need people to be able to play their role from a human intelligence perspective, because we're dealing with new challenges which technology doesn't understand, from empathy in dealing with customers to just understanding how things are changing.
And are these systems able to offer that when you talk about empathy? Because one of the other not even a buzzword, but what's become important, for example, for corporations that are using AI more and more is making sure that the relationship still feels personal between, say, FNB and Thembekile, who may be banking with you.
So in reality, I must manage expectation. Today's most functional AI systems are narrow AI systems or simple AI systems that just automate functions and allow us to be more efficient. Systems that allow us to, predict the future much better, whether it's fraud, understanding the customer's behavior so that we can offer products to them at the right time. But this allows us to unlock capacity in people so that people can play a more empathetic role. So we're not thinking so much of technology playing an empathetic role, but it's allowing people to be more people and
because it's allowing the people in the system to operate at their best.
Exactly.
And be able to solve, am I right, what would be perhaps new problems in a faster way.
Exactly. And to understand what is happening, to work with technology and apply their warmth as human beings.
And that's critical, am I right, Mark, in terms of what you do, where you're managing risk. And we're seeing that requires a lot more fluidity with the passage of time.
Exactly. The world we live in is very complex. Our systems are being subjected to a lot of fraud, customer-related risks, but also regulatory requirements that keep on evolving. And as an organization, to keep up, we have to leverage technology. We've got systems today that identify incidents ranging from fraud, potential money laundering. And what they do is that they help rank these incidents so that our people can focus on where the issues are.
Is that by danger or seriousness?
Just by behavior. Just by behavior that may attribute danger or presence of crime. But at the same time, we leverage generative AI capabilities to generate reports for decisioning. So people don't have to write reports anymore. On average, the risk space today, we drive over 200,000 investigations.
That's a lot.
So people are focusing on making decisions, not gathering insights and evidence that is being done for them by technology.
It allows you also, Mark, to be a better bank, which is what ultimately every user wants.
Exactly. We think of us as a neighborhood. You want to be in a neighborhood that is safe, that looks after your interests, but at the same time, spends more time understanding you because technology is playing a major role protecting you. Yes.
I want to move on to an interesting concept that you actually brought up earlier around geopolitics, because we're seeing, for instance, a race between nations in some instances in terms of who can come up with what system faster. I'll get to that in the latter part of our conversation, but I want to talk about sovereign AI, what that would entail, and to what extent it exists today.
Sovereign AI is about the ability of a nation to take control of the AI development value chain. And I'll give you a bit of context why it's become very topical in the past 2 years. We've been talking about AI and efficiencies, AI and productivity. The impact of AI is massive. That's why we saw, Donald Trump launch the Stargate project, 500 billion. We saw Europe put in 200 billion to drive the AI development.
Everyone wants to be ahead of the curve, it seems.
Because AI's impact affects national security, because AI systems are bolstering national security, but also being used by attackers. The ability to solve social problems, the ability to drive industrialization of the future. And this point is very critical because we're not just viewing data as a technology, but data as a resource, the same way gold was a resource, agriculture. And localizing this or having control of this value chain means opening up opportunities of the future so that the country can create more jobs. We can manufacture intelligence using AI factories. So you won't believe this. 9 of the top 10 AI investors today are the same 9 of the top 10 manufacturing countries of all time. Why? Because they see AI as the future of manufacturing. They want to secure AI factories of the future. They want to manufacture products and services that the world will consume and create that dependency.
And is that investment by nations or corporations within these countries?
By nations, but normally in these instances is collaboration between sectors in those nations. Like an example, you saw with Target, all the tech companies in the US who are together with Trump, including Elon Musk, in launching this initiative.
And in the geopolitical vein, then, there was a point where it felt like the Western nations had the lead until in recent months there were developments. DeepSeek came around. Yes. It had such a massive impact. It even affected certain stocks. Yes. How much of a game changer has DeepSeek and other related products from Asia, for example, how much have those changed the game?
It's a massive change. In fact, I will tell you, it's redefined the AI race. And I know much of the topic has been around China and America, but I think it's bigger than that, and I want to break it down for you. DeepSeek's development, which costs less than 6% of what costs OpenAI, has meant that the whole world is questioning the cost of developing and producing AI.
Because everyone wants cheaper, faster.
It's cheaper, faster, and that's why the likes of Nvidia, Broadcom, Intel, even Google and Microsoft lost their market cap, because investors felt now this innovation means that we might not need those GPUs in the future.
I can put in less money, get more out.
Exactly.
It favors the business, right? Yes.
But it also introduces the dynamic of, proprietary models versus open source model. DeepSeek is an open source model, or even semi-open source. Most importantly, is innovation is driven by openness. I think we saw, OpenAI complain a bit. They felt, DeepSeek distilled their models. But that is what the technology problem has suffered from. A condition which we call misplaced superiority complex, where you've got a group of individuals who feel like they own and understand a technology better than anyone else. And when someone else comes up with a better idea, they'll feel like, no, you stole our idea, or maybe they're wrong.
Are there any original ideas then? Because one of the famous sayings in creative spaces is there is no such thing as an original idea anymore.
We don't have original ideas, but we have original ways of executing those ideas.
So building on an existing concept.
And this is what DeepSeek did. They did not just come up with a better way of innovating under the circumstances because they had sanctions on accessing GPUs, but they innovated the way these models are developed, breaking down a bigger model into smaller models, and allegedly learning from the bigger model, which we call, the distilling concept.
And what is Africa's footing in the broader conversation around the perhaps geopolitical dynamics surrounding AI innovation, improvement on existing products, etc.?
We're seeing a lot of startups run a lot of POCs, initiatives. When you compare us to the West, China, they have a clear strategy and direction of where they're headed. The European Union, for example, has laid out this, responsible AI approach to not only drive trust and ethics, but also to drive an inclusive approach to governance while driving innovation. I think where Africa is lacking, we do not have clearly defined strategies. We've seen a lot of policies. I saw Zambia publish their policies, South Africa's published their policies, Kenya's published the strategic policy. But that's not enough, because as a nation, we need to clearly know what is our identity, what do we want to do with AI. But the likes of France, Israel, who have now come in as swing players because they're redefining the need for AI. In other words, they're influencing what China and America are designing. They're saying, this is what we want. If you don't design in line with our needs, we're going to seek alternative solutions. And we should also be leading in the same way. We've got a lot to offer.
What's holding us back then? Because Africa, a large population, firstly, great level of development and a hunger, especially for development, but also, am I right in saying great potential, because we've got very unique socio-economic needs even?
Exactly. I think it's the way we've positioned ourselves. We've traditionally positioned ourselves as consumers of technologies. We wait for others to lead, like the Asian region, the Western region to lead, and then we consume those technologies. But AI is very unique. its value comes from how much you do with it and what you do with it. And that is dependent on our unique problems. Trust is a big element. A major issue we need to solve for is our readiness and infrastructure, data, and upskilling society, not just from a technical perspective, but creating citizens of AI and data science so that everyone is able to understand this technology, understand its limitation. And last but not least, we need a clear collaboration between sectors. You remember during COVID, the COVID problem meant that all sectors worked together. We need to think of AI in the same magnitude because its impact requires alignment on sectors we prioritize.
What's standing in the way of that collaboration?
I would say legacy issues, and probably we've never collaborated before. The public sector has to play a role in creating a level playing ground for AI to be leveraged across. While I think the corporate sector can share some of its lessons because it's always leading in AI adoption. While at the same time, we need others like the social sector, other sectors to help pave way for safe application of AI.
So in the banking space where you operate, very heavily regulated space, and I wonder how much creative license that leaves you as people who are in a space that is increasingly competitive and people want the very best service, often with a click of a button.
Exactly. And on top of that, we've got so much competition. Every single day, a new bank is coming in the market, which means we not only have to innovate in the way we do things, but we have to come up with superior products and services that meet the challenge, but also meet the demand. The digital expectation is a big one. For a long time, the finance and banking sector has iterated products as technology evolves. And by that, I mean, you can go back to the 50s when MIT invented the first, server for the banking industry. The internet came, the ATM, online banking. The value proposition of banking did not change. But today, this technology has meant that we have to redefine context in banking. Technology is enabling us to meet that context, not from a product perspective, but from a customer need. So we have to think of what our customers want proactively, safety, as well as think of their global needs so that technology can help us drive partnerships.
It's quite a scale then, Mark, that you have to operate on, right? From the lower end of the customer base, higher end, all the way through then to global competitiveness. How do you walk the line?
One, we as a bank already have a very good value proposition. We've been doing this through our rewards programs, the check account products, but it's overlaying and using technology to, for example, drive digital engagement so that customers can get products. And we've got teams that are working on chatbots so that customers, especially who want to access services on demand, can get them. Then we've got algorithms that are enabling marketing areas understand customers much better, because all this is what is redefining context, because the product is there. Then in the risk space, we know reputation and safety are a value proposition in itself. I compare it to neighborhood. We're using a lot of algorithms to proactively identify incidents, but also AI and generative AI to get to decisions faster, keeping in mind that our systems will continuously being subjected to these crimes.
And I want to end, in fact, in a similar way to where we began, and ask you, in the context of everything you've shared today, what does AI mean to you as an individual, a professional, but also someone who heads up a unit at FNB?
So this technology, AI technology that has been so mature today, it's almost mimicking human functions. We've seen so much development as a science. capable of anything. To us, it means redefining our business models, becoming more efficient. It means being proactive in understanding our customers. It means, aligning our value propositions to customer context. It means partnering with our customers, but also it means playing a bigger role in helping society flourish, because we know very well as an organization, this technology is going to impact economies, the construct of what socioeconomic, life is. And if we don't work with society together, we're likely not to have our customers flourish so that we as an organization can also do well.
Mark Nasila, really good to talk to you. Mark is the Chief Data and Analytics Officer with FNB's Risk function. Really wonderful to have had you on AI Impact Talk today. And I hope you have enjoyed the conversation. We'll be back with another AI Impact Talk edition for you very soon. Bye-bye.